So we have 5 new knives to check out, and the first one we're going to check out is a KANSEPT, the KANSEPT BAKU, and it is a Greg SCHOB design. It has a nasty looking, I want to call it a Persian tanto, because the spine does Persian up a bit. However, because of the size, you can easily use the tip, which a lot of Persians, that's not the case. So this one actually, you don't lose a lot of leverage in the tip just because of the size of it. It does have the secondary edge that most tantos have, but you're not really going to be using this thing like a tanto. Of course you can slice with it, you know, of course you can use the tip and open things up, but this thing's somewhat of a self-defense knife. You know, the tip is basically aiming at whatever you're poking at, and it is nasty. Now we have S35 VN blade steel. It has titanium scales, and then we have the copper carbon fiber inlay on this side, yellow hardware, and then somewhat of a bronzish looking titanium backspacer. Kind of matches, you know, the other accents to some extent. And no inlay on this side, but we have the titanium milled pocket clip. Steel liner lock that's screwed in from the inside, and the action is very snappy. This thing definitely has some snap to it. It comes out with authority. Hammers out there. Then you have the thumb studs that work really good as well. They're easy to get to. They're not too tight to the scales. They have a good press point. You know, because it's a liner lock, you're not squeezing the scales, or the lock bar, so you don't have to worry about, you know, death lock or anything like that. And the flipper tab, it's more of a light switch. You can kind of do a little bit of an in-between, but it really likes the light switch. The size of it though, like I was saying, it's smaller. So you can get a full 4-finger grip, but it's like, it's right there. You're right on the money, at least in my hand size. But man, this thing just, it feels like it would be very nasty in a pokey situation. But yeah, all in all, you know, it's nice and smooth. I can feel the detent ball still breaking, and this thing is fresh out of the package, so, you know, it hasn't broken in yet. The one little negative that I would say, or there's probably a couple, but I wish there was a little bit better lock bar access. Now, it's not horrible, so I want to be clear. It's not bad. Like, it's not upsetting me or anything, but it's just a preference. I prefer a little bit more, but it does work. And then T6s, I'm not a fan of T6s, but you know, that's just first glimpse. And you know, I do want to get more of Greg SCHOB's designs on the channel. I have seen them going around the community a little bit, and yeah, I need to get more on the channel. Next is the DIVO GROWLER V2, aka the Prowler V2. So the GROWLER V2 from DIVO Knives will be dropping at White Mountain Knives September 7th at noon. I do not have an affiliate link for that, but I believe there's a discount code. But either way, it'll be on the 7th at noon. Now, it is an affordable knife. You know, without a discount code, 109 bucks. Not too bad considering what you're getting. So you're getting 154 cm blade steel, solid blade steel. This one has the carbon fiber, but there is an aluminum version as well. So you can get aluminum handles or the carbon fiber. It is good quality carbon fiber. And I know that might sound weird to some people because there's so much good quality carbon fiber out here. But I remember a time when you didn't always get good quality carbon fiber. You'd get voids, there'd be little chips around the edges of the holes, and you know, even the fibers, the way they were woven in some cases, were not very nice. So, you know, it is nice to see quality carbon fiber often, and this is definitely some of that. It is slightly contoured, so, you know, it's a nice comfortable knife in the hand for the reverse flick and thumb flick. You know, the handle shape is going to have a lot to do with how satisfying the action is. And this one's definitely a good knife to grip in your hand, grip it and flick it. It has steel liners that are milled out on the inside, inset. Love to see that. Aluminum back spacer. Good access to the lock bar, and beautiful jimping on the lock bar as well. And it is very, very smooth. Fantastic detent. Good sound too. Now, another thing I do appreciate is when I flick it out, how easy it is to get right into a good grip. And then you have this very, very functional jimping that stretches all the way up the spine. Whether you're going to use your pointer finger or choke all the way up and use your thumb, there is a ton of traction on that spine. And, you know, it definitely feels like the kind of jimping that I personally like on knives. You know, some jimping just sucks, and this jimping is really good. But nice and slicey geometry. Not going to be the most utilitarian knife. You know, it's somewhat of a sheep's clip point modified, a modified sheep's clip point. So the tip's not going to be easy to get to. You got to lift up too high to get to it. Now, could you use it? Absolutely. You could open things up with it and use it however you want. But it's going to be best as a slicer. It's going to be best, you know, slicing with the belly, slicing, you know, just slicing purposes. And with the geometry, it's going to do that very well, especially with the ergonomics too, because the ergonomics are really good. Deep carry clip that is reversible. And TA hardware all the way around. Very, very solid. I really don't have too many complaints. I mean, they pretty much did everything, knocked everything out of the park. So, you know, anything I would bring up would just be absolute nitpicking to the highest level. But anyways, very, very cool. Next is a knife design that's been out for a little bit, and it's possibly Artisan or CJRB's most popular knife design, and that is the CJRB PYRITE. It's just a new flavor. So I'd say this is a cool flavor for the girls in your life, or maybe if you're somebody who likes pink, or maybe if you're collecting them all, you can get this one for your collection as well. It comes in different blade shapes, so there is a lot of different flavors. Like I said, tons of different flavors, from contoured scales, drop point blade, XL version, you name it, they pretty much got it in the PYRITE. So, which does make it to where, you know, everybody's style they have. And this is just a new style. So, very cool. Deep carry clip that is reversible. Lots of milling on the inside of the steel liners, and I will link them all down in the description, all the ones that are available, so you can check them out if you want to possibly get one, because they are it is an awesome knife. There's a reason why they make so many. The VOSTEED RACCOON, another popular knife design. This is one that VOSTEED has also created a bunch of different flavors out of, and this is just another new flavor. The Richlight micarta. Now, I'm not normally a big fan of Richlight micarta. I gotta say, they did a good job with this one. For some reason, this one, man, just the sound of it, the feeling of it, it works with this Richlight. The access to the crossbar, it pokes out quite a bit, so it's very easy to get to. And another thing that I really appreciate is they tune the detent really good. It has a fantastic detent, so it actually gives you resistance when you deploy it, unlike a lot of crossbar locks that are spongy. So very, very cool. And then when you release the lock, it is fall shut on ceramic caged bearings. This is a super functional blade shape. This blade shape is going to be good for utility purposes, cutting straps, cutting ropes, slicing, just about everything. Nice and slicey, beautiful satin finish. It's a super versatile knife. This is a great knife if you're just looking for a user, if you're looking for a beater. I don't want to say beater, but if you're looking for a user, something that's going to work for most things you throw at it and do it well, check out the VOSTEED RACCOON. It's definitely a good one. Deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws and reversible, and they give you the reversible plate to cover up the hole. 14C 28M blade steel, solid blade steel. I personally love that blade steel. The ergonomics are really, really good. You can choke up really nicely. Yeah, the RACCOON, man, super solid knife. I've got many videos on them, and you know, I've liked it since it first came out. Next is the SITIVIEN ST124 in D2 steel. Now, I think I've already had this one on the channel. I'm pretty sure I have. I know I have. So I'll speak about it briefly. D2 steel, it has somewhat of a Persian big belly drop pointish blade. It's definitely a blade that you're not really going to be using for utility cuts, but more of the belly. It will be a fantastic slicer. The ergonomics are really, really good. The crossbar is actually done very well. We were talking about it with the RACCOON, how it has a good detent. They did a good detent on this one too. You can see the resistance right there, and then see how it sucks it in. So there's resistance, resistance, resistance. Once you break that resistance, it pulls it in. And that's it, just trying to get over this bar. So it's not a spring or anything like that. It's just the way they tuned it so that it had the ability to have a detent, which is genius. I love it. I'm happy for it because so many companies with crossbar locks make them spongy. Deep carry clip that's not reversible, and that is one negative because it is an ambidextrous knife otherwise. So not having a reversible clip is definitely not good for a crossbar lock. You usually want a reversible clip because lefties love crossbar locks because it's one knife or one lock design that's completely ambidextrous. There's other ones, but it is definitely one of them. But again, you know, SITIVIEN is a knife company that if you're looking to spend the littlest amount of money and get the best bang for your buck for the littlest amount, SITIVIEN knives does a really, really good job. You know, if you're in the $20, $30 price range, there are a ton of SITIVIEN knives that are really good. Some I like a lot more than others, and you can check out my videos. I have tons of videos on SITIVIENs. Work hard, stay tough. You know society's relying on you. Until next time, peace.